So right mindfulness, that's a very important concept, especially related to all of us here spending our time in meditation. For those who are interested in meditation, meditation is not just like a one-time deal. You come here and that's meditation. No. Meditation is a lifetime learning process. You won't realize the benefits of it, the essence of it, until you really have tried out for a great number of times. If you just sit there and thought that is meditation, it's not that simple. It's something that you practice. A 5-year-old knows how to sit and cross-legged, but it takes an 80-year-old to really achieve nirvana and enlightenment. So it's a process of learning and learning and learning. So right mindfulness, what is right mindfulness? Have we been mindful in what we're doing? We always say, of course, this is my mind. I've been mindful in what I'm doing. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We have always not been mindful. And even if we are mindful, we may not put our mindfulness on the right foundation. What are these foundations? Because if your mind is not set in the right path, you could have put your mind to do something wrong. The mind originates a lot of defilements, and if you're only mindful of those, if we are only mindful of those, we're in deep trouble. We have always been mindful of what? Greediness, desires, jealousy, hatred, anxiety, fear, disappointment, you name them. That's what we've been mindful of. Egoistic, chauvinism. Oh, you name them. You should know how to name them. It should be an inexhaustible list. Those are the things that we've been mindful on most of the time. Is it right to be mindful of that? Is it right to be mindful of egoism? Of course, you know it isn't. We all know that we shouldn't be egoistic, unless you really are up to a point that you don't even know that egoistic is wrong. Some people don't even realize that being egoistic is wrong. They don't even know that. The better people know it's not right. But people who indulge in egoism, they don't even know. When they hurt people, they don't even know. When they exercise violence, they don't even know. When they're greedy, they don't even know. When they're jealous, they don't even know. They just react to emotion in accordance with their egoism and reacting to the outside world. So mindfulness is a very important concept. First of all, we must gear our mindfulness to the right path first. Not to say whether you are mindful, you must know what is the right path. That's why we've been studying the Eightfold Path. We study the Four Noble Truths and then the Eightfold Path. If you don't even have the right understanding of life, right intention of life, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right efforts, we can't even talk about mindfulness. Now, given that we already understand what mindfulness is all about, let's talk about mindfulness now in isolation. And we call it Sati. Sati is a Pali language. We've just finished chanting in Pali. You know what Pali language is for those first-time comers? Pali, at the time of Buddha, approximately about 2,600 years ago, in India, Indians spoke more than 100 languages. But the most two commonly used is Pali and Sanskrit. Sanskrit is basically for the upper class, and Pali is for the mass population. And that word Sati, it's a Pali language word. What does Sati mean? Sati means mindfulness. We train our mind to remain in the present moment. We don't train our mind to think about the past, attached to the past. Some people have very bad past experiences, abusive childhood, broken marriages, employment dismissal, fighting at work, competition, school, website, a lot of things in the past which is not happy. A lot of things in the past which is happy too. But it does not matter. Mindfulness is living at the present moment. Don't link onto the past. Don't do the future too. Don't link onto the future too. The future hasn't come. You can plan for the future. Don't even worry about the future. Some people worry about the future. They are very insecure. Why worry? If you worry today, would the worrying help you to resolve tomorrow's problem? I worry about the happening, the probability of that it will happen. I worry about it. I'm anxious about it. I have a lot of anxiety about it. I worry about it. I'm unhappy about it. I'm emotionally worried about it. But would that worrying help you to resolve the problem, which may not come or may come, even if it may come? Would it help to resolve it? No, it wouldn't. But it helps you to reduce your happiness today. If you worry, you have to worry right now, which is unhappy. Why do you make yourself worrying? I'm not talking about religiously, spiritually. I'm just talking about common sense. Common sense tells us that by worrying about it, it wouldn't help. If that occurrence is bad and it never would happen in the future, why worry now? If the probability for that bad occurrence will occur, would the worrying now help it to stop it from occurring? It won't. But people's mind, because they're not trained, they always worry. Why? Because they think about past bad experiences. They fail a lot of times. They're afraid of failures. They're afraid of disappointment. They don't want that to come up again. They always think that it's recurring. That's the problem of attaching to the past. You can learn from the past, though. We learn from history. In the past, I had this unhappy ending because I have committed these errors. I know these errors. I'm not going to commit them again. I learned from it. But I'm not going to worry about these. Learning and attachment is not the same. Learning, you learn all these things, all the errors that you have made. You won't do them again. Period. Attachment is, you linger on your past abusive childhood. You blame everybody. You don't forgive anybody. Your broken marriage, a divorce. You blame your ex-husband. You blame your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend. You think about all these things. No. Training yourself mindfulness is be at the present moment. So mindfulness helps to note every thought and let it, when you're mindful, the thought comes. Just as Zati, remember I said when you're meditating, this is the object of meditation, the object of your concentration. You are a molecule stuck right inside your nose tip. You feel the air coming in and out, in and out. What's the purpose of this? You create an object of concentration so that when another thought arises, no, I don't want that thought. I want to switch back to this object. So that you concentrate in here, you trying to avoid all other wandering thoughts. And as time goes on, you don't even need this as a concentration object. You just meditate. You meditate, a thought arises, and it's sustained without you noticing it. Now you noticed it. You see the thought arising, you watched it. You see the thought sustaining, you watched it. You see the thought slowly, gradually disintegrating, dissolving, you watched it. So you watched a thought come, arise, sustain, the thought disappeared. You watch every thought like that. Oh, here comes a thought of anxiety. Oh, would I get fired? I'm worrying. What happened if I'm out of a job? My supervisor is telling behind my back. The boss, he's going to fire me. A thought arises. You have to know about it, and you go, oh, this is a thought of anxiety, a thought of fear. I watched it. My emotion is not going to be carried away by it. I watched it. It arises now. I'm worrying about it. But that worry arises now. I'm not going to be worried by it. I'm watching that thought of worry. And let it go, let it go. It sustains. No, it's disappearing. No more, no more. So you watch that thought arises, sustaining, and going away. Can you be a third person watching your own thought? Every thought you watched it, every thought you know about it? It's difficult. How can you objectively be a third person? That needs training. That needs insight. That needs meditation. That's why what we're doing in here. If you're successful in being a third person to watch yourself, and you build all your thoughts on the right foundation, right intention, right mindfulness, right action, right speech, you're on your way to happiness. You're on your way to avoid all these mental defilements. No more jealousy, no more hatred, no more fear, no more anxiety. Wouldn't that be a better life for all of us if you rid yourself of all those? And this watching the breath in and out, some people say, this is for beginners. No, this is not for beginners. This is for the very advanced. This is enough for 30 years. This just is in and out breath is enough for 30 years. You just watched it, and you know how to do it. Your wisdom level would rise, and your wisdom level would tell you what to do next. You don't have to ask the teacher. You know the wisdom in you would direct you to do the right thing. Now, right mindfulness is cultivated usually, if we need a method, is usually cultivated through a practice, what we call the four foundations of mindfulness, the four contemplations that we already talked about before, but it's worthwhile to review it. What are these four foundations, four contemplations? Contemplation of the body, when you're being mindful, contemplation of the body or mindfulness of the body. Contemplation of feelings or mindfulness of feelings. Contemplation of states of mind and contemplation of all phenomena. These are the four foundations. We all talked about that before, but it's worth reviewing it. Number one, what is contemplation of the body? What is most important, the vital process of your own body is not just drinking water, not just eating food. If you don't eat food for 7 days, you may not survive. If you have no water for 3 or 4 days, you may not survive. But that's still a length of time. But if you close your nose for a few minutes, you don't survive. So breathing is actually the most important process in your body. And it's the closest to you. So if you're meditating, what do you use as an object of concentration? What's the closest? You don't have to burn a candle. You don't have to get a big bowl of water and meditate on it. You don't need an object outside of you. You need an object that is so akin to you, so close to you. What is that? What is that? That's your own breath. What is more important than your own breath? Why do we use this breath? Because it's the most readily available tool. It's the most important tool. You don't have to carry it in your pocket. It's always available for meditation. Wherever you go, standing, sitting, lying down, reclining, wherever you go. This is the breath. So, contemplation of the body starts with what? Starts with this root meditation subject, which is, we call it mindfulness of breathing. And in the Sanskrit language, or the Pali language, it's called anapanasati. Remember, we've been all talking about anapanasati, in and out breath, in and out breath. How do we do it? When we meditate, we concentrate on our breathing. We don't want to have wandering thought. We want to concentrate on how we breathe. When the air comes in, the air is coming in. When the breath is going out, the air is going out. So it's in and out, in and out. Concentrate in there. That direct your concentration, your mindfulness into there. And I should do this all the time. Thoughts come in. Thoughts come in. You stop that thought. You see that thought arises. There's another thought arises, which is not in and out breath now. Another thought arises. I didn't know about it until I get carried away for 2 minutes, and then, I haven't been concentrating on my breath. I've been thinking about home. I've been thinking about job. No, I won't be thinking about that. I come back to my breathing again. So it's a lot of going and coming, going and coming. When you are really familiar with your own breath, what is your feeling? How do you feel when you really know, watch my breath in and out, in and out. I'm so much trained in it. What would become of your breath? Any response? If you're so concentrated in it. Yeah?
Very subtle. It's getting subtle.
Yes, exactly. When you are meditating, train your mind in the anapanasati, the first thing you will realize is you have that peace of mind in you. And then your breath starts to be long. Right now you're breathing short. You're up to the lung only. You're short. When you meditate more and more, your breath goes down, deeper and deeper and deeper. Your breath does not stop at the lung. It goes down to the belly button, to the abdomen. It's deeper and deeper and longer. And also, it's very subtle, very fine. Now it's not subtle. Why? Because we can feel it. We can feel it. We can feel the passage of the air going through. You can feel it. When it's fine and subtle, so fine that you don't feel it, you will be in excellent health. Your longevity, your like I already given examples before. Dogs, they have very short breath. Horses, they have very short breath. Dog, very short breath. Short breath animals, they live short life. A dog, maybe 15 years. At the most 17, 18 years, they died. A horse, maybe even shorter. A turtle's breath is so fine and subtle and so long, they live for maybe thousands of years. Sea turtle, 4 years ago I released 9 sea turtles in China. In Zhanjiang, by accident, because some of those fishermen, they're forbidden items. You're not allowed to catch sea turtles, but some people caught them illegally. And when I was in the market, I was going 3-4 o'clock in the morning in the wholesale market. I was trying to save fish. I bought sharks, all kinds of fish, without them noticing me. I'm a monk, so I was walking around and I shop for live animals, those animals that are ready to be killed. Sharks, small turtles, sea salmons, all kinds, hundreds of varieties, starfish. And I bought them up And then when I was buying, there was a guy who walked up to me and whispered in my ears, "Hey, do you want sea turtles?" Oh, I said, "Oh, sea turtles? Yeah, fine. Where are they?" "Only you can come with me. All your companions, they can't come." So I went, I followed him about half a mile from the wholesale market. There was a stone house, and that's where they store the sea turtles. They sold sea turtles to restaurants to be slaughtered for food. So I went in there and I saw this turtle that big, probably about 500 years, at least a longevity of 500 years. And I bought 9 sea turtles, and then we went out to the sea to release them in the open ocean. And these sea turtles, when we put them on the deck, ready to be released, they could feel it. Originally, they shrunk their heads and tails and legs, but when we put them out on the deck, they smell the breeze, the sea breeze, and all their hairs stuck up. And they were not afraid of us anymore. And we can feel that sea turtles are so happy. And so we perform ceremony, and 3 guys, it takes 3 guys to hold a sea turtle. It's, I don't know how many pounds, probably about 200 pounds, and throw them back to the sea. And some of them swam back and looked at us, and then they went out. They went away. Oh, they went away fast after looking back at us. So they know, they sense us. Otherwise, if we don't release them, they will be killed for food. So I'll be away. When Lee came back, I'll be away on the 28th for another month, going to China, to Hong Kong, for another round of release of sea animals. And these days you can't release land animals because they raise them in the farm. Skunks, fox, all kinds of, they ate animals, and wild animals. And the consumption is so high that they breed them in a farm. So if you release those farm animals, supposed to be in the wild, they couldn't survive because they've been fed regularly. And if you release them back, they can't survive. So birds also. Birds nowadays, in the old days, you can release them and they fly back to the wood. And now if you release them, they were being raised by farm, and they release them, they can't survive. So, talking about releasing sea animals, you see, I can never finish right mindfulness when I talk about other things. I can't finish. But anyway, it's good. We take our time. There was a story like this, and some people said, there's so many animals being slaughtered, so many animals, sea animals slaughtered for food, and even if you release them, it doesn't make any difference, because how many can you release? They kill billions every day. Fish, or chickens, pigs, ducks, turkeys, they kill all of them. They kill many every day. And I read a story which is very meaningful. And I'm going to tell you this story before we go to the cafeteria. There was an old man who always went to the beach. And one day he was sitting at the beach, a sandy beach, and he saw a boy, 11-year-old boy. And he thought that the boy was dancing on the sandy beach, but that boy was not dancing. That boy was throwing starfish back into the sea on a mile of sandy beach. And that boy was picking up the starfish and throwing back to the sea. Starfish. You know starfish? There's many starfish on the beach being rushed up by the waves on shore. And then the old man, interestingly, went up and said, "Hey, what are you doing there?" "I'm throwing back these starfish to let them otherwise they will be killed. Because when the sun comes out and they're still on the sand, they would dry up and they would die because the waves washed them ashore." And the boy said, I like starfish, and I like to throw them back to the sea so that they can live. And the old man said, you're doing something that is futile. You're doing something that is useless. Why? Because so many starfish, a mile of sandy beach, and you're only throwing, how many can you throw? You throw for the whole day, and it won't make any difference. They'll be all dead anyway, so every day it doesn't make any difference. The boy was listening, but the boy was picking up another starfish and looked at the starfish, and he started to throw them back to the sea, and he said, yes, this one makes a difference. To the starfish, it makes a difference. Straight back. You know what it means? To the starfish, it's life and death. To you, you think that there's millions of starfish. Does not make any difference which one is alive, which one is dead. But the boy is really a philosopher. He said, to the starfish itself, it makes a difference. It's life and death for him. If it is life and death for you, would you prefer to be safe? It's not your life. When we're considering others' life, we're not considering from a perspective of your own life. What if you are the starfish? You are a small effort of throwing back to the sea make a big difference to the starfish. Because it's not your life. You don't care. When it comes to caring about your own life, sure, that makes a difference to you. So when people say, Reverend Guan Cheng, you released fish back to the sea, makes no difference. We're killing billions every day. It makes a difference to every one of those little fish. It makes a difference. That's his life. It makes a difference. So it does not matter how much I do, how much all these people do. There are other people who like to save animals.